Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther Variety.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm Joe Panther Variety, and man, Ringside crew, you're in for a treat. I had this young lady to help me open season 3 of Dudes at Ringside podcast last year. She is returning to help me close out Women's Wrestling Month in February. Welcome back to Dudes at Ringside. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
So, what have you been up to since the last time we were in the studios?
To be honest, I have no clue. There have been so many things going on. I feel like I've done so much, like I've traveled so much more. I think I've been in 8 new countries since last time. So a lot of have been going on.
Awesome. So what has been the most recent rivalry you've been in? Who's the most recent wrestler that you want to talk about tonight that you've had a chance to work with that you didn't work with before the last time?
My last match was last weekend in Czech Republic against Hayden Wynn. I think it was quite funny to be there. I loved his face, and I feel like it was a good match.
Awesome. So is there any new trainings that you've been doing, that any new moves that you didn't do before that you've done now that you wish that you had a chance you did before?
Yes. Since last time I've begun to use a new finisher. I'm using a code breaker from the middle rope, and I mean I've gotten a lot of new wins, so I guess that have helped.
Oh, I guess you went on the Peacocks and was watching Chris Jericho doing the code breaker and stuff like that.
I actually saw Liv Morgan doing like code breakers, and then I was like, maybe from the middle rope. It was actually Dan Evans that inspired me to do it, because I had a seminar with him and he was like, try to do this move. I think it could fit you quite well, and I guess it did. So
Is there, with it being Women's Wrestling Month, is there any other women that you've been seeing on the social medias that you want to work with within the independent scene in Denmark that you've never worked with yet?
I feel like there are so many women that I want to work in the future, like insanely many. I really want to work. Who do I not want to work? There's so many people I want to work, so I can't come up with like a specific name, to be honest.
With you being so young in the business, do you feel like I said this to a lot of other wrestlers, with you being so young in the business, do you feel like Superman, like you go from being a young kid to now being in the business, and does it feel like, has it hit you yet that you're doing so much now that you're doing what you're doing in the wrestling world?
I feel like I have started to wrestle so much more. I feel like I'm basically wrestling all the time. And I can feel that with school and stuff like that, because I can feel like everyone is like, oh, you're traveling all of the time, you're never in school, you're always with wrestling and stuff like that. And I can feel like, yeah, I'm actually wrestling a lot, and this is actually my dream. And sometimes I'm like start crying, because I'm like, okay, I'm actually doing this. It's like unreal for me, to be honest.
So when it comes to your shows, and then if you're home the next 2 days after the show, do you have to have a rehab, rebound after doing a show, or do you just go back to doing your regular life?
Basically just the regular life. The day after a show, I feel like I'm a bit exhausted. It depends on like how big of a match and how long the day have been, and then I like to sleep a bit longer, but or else I need to get back to doing homework and all that, because I'm still a student in high school, so it takes up a bit time to do that as well.
Have you been recognized in high school being a wrestler now full time?
Yes. I feel like my whole everyone in my high school know who I am because of wrestling. So it's quite weird. But I think I love it. So I think it's quite fun when people are like, "Oh my god, you're the wrestler." And I think like, "Yep, that's me."
It must be cool because like most kids are known for playing football or soccer. They know you from other things that from the school that you're like, think about it, when you leave high school and you go to college and then you get bigger in the wrestling business, you may be on that wall of fame one day in your school. They may put you in the hall of fame because you're a wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's quite weird because I am the only one in my school that are doing wrestling, and nobody's like quite doing something similar. I feel like everyone is doing dancing, football, as you said, and just, I will not say normal, but in Denmark it's really not normal to do wrestling.
Really?
Yes, it's like I am like the youngest active wrestler on the Danish scene, and I'm the only female active wrestler in Denmark, so it's quite it's not that spread out in Denmark.
So like in Denmark, it like you said you wrestled a male wrestler. Is Denmark, is it like well known to do like intergender wrestling and stuff like that against men?
I have had a lot of intergender matches, but I feel like we're always taking people from other countries in female to so I can wrestle them.
Hmm. Yeah, because in the States, it's some parts of the states where I live, it's a good, like they say, oh, it's really good. And then there's other parts of the states that it's like, oh, I don't want to have a man versus a woman. It's not believable. So it's like, yeah, that it's like reading them a book of instructions how to plug in a microwave. It's like take box out of it's like it can happen. There's women that would destroy a man. like
Yeah,
like I know plenty of women's wrestlers that I've interviewed over the past few years, like you or La Katrina or Sammy Chaos from the States, or any woman would absolutely level a man like a truck hitting a deer. like,
and I think intergender matches is quite fun as well. I think it's a fun challenge.
yeah. Have you ever thought of going for like a men's championship belt yet?
No, I haven't, but one day maybe.
I could see you doing it. I believe in you, Madison. I'm believing in you. So, who made your new gear?
It's a woman in Denmark actually. She's not. I'm the only one she does wrestling gear for. Like does that for me because she's normally doing dancing clothes and stuff like that. But I was like, can you please do this for me? Because it took me so long to find a person in Denmark to make my gear because they were like, no, that's weird. We don't want to do that. So yeah, finally I found this woman and she's absolutely amazing.
Awesome. So, when it comes to your like training, do you have to like break it down on certain days since you're still in high school? Is it hard to figure out days to do training and stuff?
I'm doing wrestling training on Monday and no, on Tuesday and Thursday it's wrestling, and then I have shows in the weekends. So I feel like it's okay.
Hmm. Um, so I'm a local, as you know, I'm a local podcaster in a small area. So where would you say you and your parents or just you go to after a show to get a bite to eat?
Normally I'm just taking like a snack with me on the way home. Because like when it's in Denmark, then normally it takes like not longer than a half hour to drive home from Copenhagen to my house. But when I'm like in the other part of Denmark, we're just in the car, and me and some of the other guys are taking like McDonald's or something to way home.
Mm,
But
yeah.
yeah,
It's something that like when you go to when you like you guys either eat at McDonald's or Burger King, or then you do the smart thing. You'll just bring like a little meal or a candy bar or something like that to get you through to get you back to center. But like when after the match or before your match, before you go through the curtain now, do you have a certain thing you say to yourself? Do you have a song you listen to get yourself into that character mode again?
It's like I'm fine. I'm only getting really into like, okay, it's now, it's now. It's like when my music is playing, like during my entrance, and I'm standing behind the curtain and be like, okay, okay, it's actually now. I think I'm gonna die. But I'll be fine. I'm always saying like, live your life, do your best.
Awesome. Have you had any young fans like give you pictures they drawn of you or anything like that yet?
Yes, I've got a few like drawings. It's so cute, but like normally I'm not doing family shows because we don't have that much of that in Denmark. But I've got a few drawings. It's super cute. I love it.
That's awesome. If my fans want to pick up any like merch of yours, do you have any merch or store yet? If anybody could pick anything up of yours yet?
I'm like in process to do like a website where you can also order merch and stuff like that, but it's not up yet. But hopefully soon, because I do have merch, but I only sell it on show days. But soon it will be online as well.
Awesome. Do you have any fun stories from the ring?
What? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Do you have any fun stories from the ring?
I have a lot of fun stories. I don't know. Yes, I actually got. I had a match not long ago. And it was a tag team match. And the first, I don't know, first 1 minute of the match, I was tagging my partner in, and I had to go through the ropes to get out on like the apron. And I have these tights on, and it's just when I was going out of the ring, and I was like, I was getting in like full cold mode and was like, oh my god. But
No.
it was not that, it was not even big, but it's like you could just hear the sound of it, and I was terrified. But there was nothing, but I was so scared.
Oh
So
god.
on the camera, my face is like,
Oh my god, and then you couldn't see anything. Like it wasn't big enough that the rips didn't go all the way up the back or whatever, or the front,
no,
you know?
it was super lucky, but I was so scared.
I
But
would have
yeah.
been if I was ringside, I would have grabbed a towel and be like, "Here, hold on, put this around you." Okay, like.
But it was like in the first minute of the match, so there was like nothing to do.
Oh gosh. So your parent couldn't go run backstage and say, "Hold on, go behind the ring," or go backstage and grab some trunks and change into some
But it was
shorts.
like it was not my shorts. It was like the touch you have like under.
Oh
It was nothing that, so you couldn't see anything. I was just like, oh my god, it got ruined.
no.
But yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
was fine.
horrible. All right. I just got worried. I was like, "Oh god, if I was the ring crew, I'd been like, what bag is yours? I'm gonna grab you some. Go to the side. I'll get you some trunks. Distract the referee so they can see you, so you don't get counted out." Like, oh no.
Yeah,
Um.
most funny was my facial expression.
Oh gosh. Um. Before we go, if there was any kids that are watching this podcast that have aspirations to do what you've done and doing so far with your wrestling dreams, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I will say you really have to go for it. Like, if you have a dream, you should go for it and like do whatever it takes. Just follow your dream and be yourself. Be positive and happy in the journey.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for coming back on the podcast. It means the world that you are helping me now. Instead of like last year, you helped me close out you helped me open the new season of Dudes at Ringside season 3, and now you're helping me close out Women's Wrestling Month in February. I'm Joe Panther III,
And I'm Madison Marley.
and we will catch you in the next one.
Yes.